KFC.
Okay, guys, we are live.
Wouldn't live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
That is actually a joke. That was savage.
I need an evil little cat so I can swing around in this chair. It'd be great. Hi, everybody.
Now I have a pet cat. Hey, everyone, welcome back. We have the 4th edition of Millennial OMI. So we have myself, Mr. Daniel Lee, wannabe champ, and below we have Taps Trades. And today we'll be joined with our special guest, the one and only, he is inevitable, Mr. Reese himself. Half of the fodders are gone.
That's it.
Oh, that actually had
So
these stitches.
what we're going to be doing is we will be just in the spirit of Marvel Month. We will be kind of talking a little bit about that. We'll be doing some community questions, and we will, of course, be just talking a little bit more about kind of what there is to come moving forward as well, and just a little bit of an update with regards to the upcoming community quiz that we have as well. So that should be pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, plenty to cover. How's everybody's Marvel month so far?
I've got the I'm in t-shirt today as well. Yeah,
Iron Man t-shirt.
I've got the my Funko Reese figure.
To scale.
Yeah,
I
I've got a big
myself
one.
watching a bunch of Marvel movies after the drop too.
Yeah.
Did ya?
Yeah,
Which one did you watch?
I watched Thor, which I'm hopeful for this month, and obviously not confirmed. And then I watched the OG Spider-Man. I actually like the original Spider-Man 1, and then they kind of get off the rails as they go.
Yeah, I can't even remember, man. Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, last week was pretty massive. I think we can all agree on that. I was laughing so much at the start of last week as, you know, like, we started sharing some bits and pieces, and people would just scream at us like, why isn't Marvel tweeting this? Why isn't Marvel putting this on
Every time.
Every post. And then we got to Thursday, and it was just, you couldn't open the computer without seeing a post from someone somewhere. Like, it was rather satisfying. But did you guys have any luck in the drop? Did anyone get the secret rare or anything?
No.
Got an ultra rare.
An ultra rare?
Yeah, so I basically changed my strategy. Normally I go for the rarest, but I seem to have more luck going for the second rarest. So I went for the ultra rare, and I managed to cop that one. So I was pretty happy. And then my mint number was like 2,000 and something. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's I don't really care about mint numbers. I just wanted it. And then I saw my mint number had changed to 510, and I was like, oh my god, did I just remember it correctly?
Nice.
And then I saw all of the complaints of people like, oh no, they need to give me back my mint number, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that was a tough morning. But I think Dan explained anyway. Like, that's the first time we really put that much load on it since we put the randomized mint update in. It's just one of those isolated events. That green truck driver just had way too big a night.
Too many whiskeys with David Yu.
He was too excited. Yeah.
Hey, I love a whiskey.
But that drop though, that was it 60,000 total mints gone in roughly like 24 hours. That has to be an NFT, project record, because that's insane.
Yeah, absolutely wild. I was curious to see how the commons were going to go, actually, because there was quite a high number of editions, and they didn't sell out straight away. I don't think any of us expected those to sell out straight away, but I was surprised that they were gone within 24 hours. Like, I don't know if that's I don't know if people are playing, they're enjoying the excitement of trying to get that random edition number. I bought one of the commons when there was still 30,000 left, and I think I got number 28,000 and something. But I guess as you go along, you've got a better chance of getting a lower mint on those ones as well. So, yeah, it's exciting to see. I'm very excited to see how the rest of this month plays out with other Marvel content.
Okay,
Just
did you?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did you get the missus to try as well, or did you just do it on your own?
Oh, yeah. So my girlfriend, I got her into VeVe, but she's literally like, on the coming soon logo, there's like a unicorn over there that's got like the kind of kanji symbol on its head. She's like, the only reason I downloaded VeVe is because I want to be able to buy that.
My missus was the same.
It's like that one that's little on the little coming soon logo in the app. But just a community question, actually, with regards to the sobriety of Mr. Green Truck Driver. Is he no longer going to be able to tell us the mints, or is he going to be fixed to show the correct mints just because people are asking?
Yeah, no, I think the Green Truck Driver will still be a thing, and I think it will show the correct mints from now. Whatever it was, the devs figured out that display issue. So we don't need to, as far as I'm aware, there's no need to sort of remove that part of the process.
Yeah.
It was just an isolated event. Yeah, so it should be back to normal this week.
Ah, perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. And I don't think we've released any drop info yet for this week, have we?
Yes, I was actually going to ask about that, because usually on the Tuesday, I think people are like all hyped up, but we didn't hear anything. Do you have anything you can share with the 200 people watching?
Not really. I mean, it will happen soon anyway, right? In the next 24 hours.
Hashtag soon.
Hashtag soon. Yeah.
Hashtag
No, it's a weekend drop. I think we'll see a few of those this month. With Marvel being such a big brand. They want to open access to as many people as possible as well. But yeah, it's an Alex and Noah thing now to share the VeVe.
Oh yeah, Noah does the article
side of things, and I'd never want to step on their toes. So
from the Twitter, the VeVe Twitter, there was a comment with the Captain America. So could we assume correctly that the next drop will be the Marvel Mighty's blind boxes?
It's very possible. Yeah, they're definitely in the works. Yeah, I mean, they're in the pipeline, right? We know Mighties are coming, and we know the comics are coming. So yeah, sometime in the next few weeks, either of those will hit. But we'll have to we'll see which one's ready to go first.
That was
awesome.
Brilliantly asked, Kay, because you eliminated when from your vocabulary, instead just reformed the question.
I had to restructure my delivery.
Yeah.
Just on
the Mighties are they're making their debut on VeVe when they hit. They're not a Marvel product that's available anywhere else, which is like another world first, right? It's kind of a debut of a brand new product line. Which is super exciting. We're all obviously excited that Marvel have taken us on for this partnership, but to see them, they're giving us that kind of leeway, right, to let us kind of roll out a new product and that kind of thing. It's just another big step in the right direction.
Fantastic. Just on the point of drops, so this will be a weekend drop, but is there any kind of news on when we may have weekday drops return as well? So more than one drop a week? Do we have anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, no specific dates, but it's definitely in the works. I think by the end of the month, if everything's running well, we'll have pretty regular drops taking place again. I know you're a fan of the weekday drop. Is that right?
Yeah, I prefer the weekdays just because on the weekends, that's the kind of day when I see like friends and my girlfriend stuff, and I'm normally always outside. And it's like hassle just running for decent connection. Last time I had to do the Ecto one inside the Apple store. I was like, there's an Apple store there. I heard they have good Wi-Fi. We're running there.
Did you use all the display phones to log into VeVe and then all your friends and girlfriend?
Yeah, pull out the phone, and then that was the day when the reverse clock gate happened, and my timer went back 2 minutes, and I was like, this Apple Wi-Fi must be really like janky because my clock just sent me back 2 minutes.
I love that one.
I was like, oh, okay, janky. It wasn't just me; it was other people.
Yeah. Just another part of the story, right?
I mean, at least it's whatever that was, it's resolved. So don't have to get reverse clock gated anymore.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, the devs are man, they work around the clock. Like all of them, the amount of features and the responsiveness of them to roll these things out are they're just killing it. They're really good. So
yeah, shout out to All Chat Gaming. Thank you for the donation. The boys are back. I actually like that series, The Boys. That's actually a really good one on Amazon.
This is our fourth one. It's It's gone pretty well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the story of this millennial stream, guys? How did it come together? Was it just for the sake of having a conversation?
Kind of like I just didn't want to sit on a stream with just me and Kay because I deal with him. No, I'm joking. Because I have to deal with him all the time. And I've been a fan of Tats and Daniel Lee is literally when I was kind of slowing down on the OMI videos, but OMI is inevitable. So that's happened. And Daniel Lee just kept coming up. So I thought let's just try it out rather than get all the YouTubers involved. Let's just do like 4-person stream, one on each one, so it's fair, so everyone has one. And everyone was being really like super easy going, and that's kind of like the idea behind it. And then that's why it's kind of like that's like level 1, you could say, and then level 2 is going to be the next one, right? The quiz, like the multi-stream, which will be really fun.
Yeah,
Champ started it, and I think the Millennial OMI name came from LoriWalkingFeather.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. Just getting screamed at on Twitter.
That or we were just talking about in Telegram. I think she actually kept calling us like Millennial Money version OMI, and then we just kind of meshed it.
Yeah,
Right.
Millennial OMI.
Yeah. No, it's good. I like it.
How has the team been finding the whole kind of Marvel month? Like, how's the I guess communication and everything going with Marvel? I imagine it must be quite busy. Do the kind of meetings with Marvel, the artists and whatnot, does that tend to be quite time consuming for you guys? It's kind of like, what does that look like?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, a lot of this has been in the works now for, I mean, the deal with Marvel, more than 12 months. The assets in development now for months. You know, Trevor's been working on these things, but like everything we do has to go through so many iterations. They sign off on it. Sometimes, you know, there's a lot of creative direction from their side. For something like the Mighties that have never been out before, we have a bit more room to move, or, you know, we're helping to establish the first sort of images of that product. But it's a very involved process, you know, between us and Marvel and all of those kind of back and forth conversations. Because you have to be respectful of their IP as well. You know, we have to create content that's true to their brand and up to the standards that they expect, obviously being one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. It's a lot of work. You know, and just from design to copy to, you know, any sort of public facing imagery or videos or anything like it's all going through a lot of sign off all the time. So
that was actually the question I wanted to ask, like because I think what you said there, I think a lot of people kind of don't take into account is the standard that Marvel or even any of the licenses you will have. Like, you can't just make it as like a, how do I say, like a very basic copy. They've actually got their reputation on the line, their brand on the line, so they're going to sign it off. So actually, I was thinking, what type of like quality control is that? Is it literally just a sign off, or is there someone you're working with? Are they kind of integrated with your team in terms of the design, or do they give you some sort of template with that? Like the Spider-Man looks absolutely amazing, and if you've seen them, not to plug any other NFT platform or whatever, but they've done a Marvel NFT and it looks like I drew it, which is terrible. So yeah, like, is it just sign-offs? Is it integrated with the team? Do they have templates? How do they integrate with you?
Yeah, I mean, for the finer details, we're probably better off talking to Trevor about it.
Yeah.
It definitely starts with a bit of a creative brief, or we know what we're trying to build. Obviously, we're very blessed that we're working with some of the top studios in the world to create this.
Yes.
Right. Some of them have already worked with Marvel or on particular things. But yeah, everything we do, every color change, every small design change, all of that goes back and forth between like quality control, for lack of a better term, before it moves to the next stage or gets approved. And there can be, I mean, it's just the nature of the game, but there can be changes right up until the last minute. If there's anything that seems out of place, maybe as this journey continues and we all get to know each other a little bit better, there's a bit more freedom there, you know, or a bit more trust. But it's very hands-on.
But I think like on the back of that, even like the freedom side of things, it will be experience too, right? Like the more you guys do it, the more you will know, oh, actually that color theme or that rail color or whatever it may be, they don't like that, we can't stick to that. So you'll know the rules and you'll have that in-house anyway. So the revisions will be less and less.
Yeah.
So,
and as you work with these brands, you really start to understand their voice more, right? This is the kind of content
and their vision.
Yeah. You understand their regiment, so it's easier to kind of fit within that.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Marvel character? I just wanted to ask that before Kay asks the question.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Out of all of Marvel?
Iron Man.
Yeah,
Iron Man.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Thor. I think he's just like, I just like all the lore behind that character.
And the hair.
And the hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tats.
Exactly.
Tats.
And the hair.
I got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Tats
And he's
got
Australian. Yeah. So, no, I think he's cool. I like the X-Men as well, you know, like I'm a big Wolverine fan, and yeah, there's too many characters in these universes that come with their stories. Like, just for me, you know, diving into this world and really getting more insight into the creativity of the people that created these characters. Like, it's just, it blows me away. You know, I don't think I have a creative bone in my body, let alone one that could create tens of thousands of characters. So yeah, it's wild to see.
Just a question around the Marvel drop that we had. So this is a kind of topic of debate. A lot of people in the Ecomi Telegram just keep bringing it up. So I thought it might be worthwhile just to discuss. So we know that Marvel is the first licensor that has a 6% royalty fee on the market. So right now we know that 2.5% of secondary market fees are, you know, OMI that's going to contribute towards the burn. We also have an additional 6%, which is revenue that goes to Marvel. So we know that part of, I believe it's, I think it was phase 2 in your utility article, where we have the ability to buy NFTs with OMI. So kind of in the context of purchasing NFTs with OMI, a lot of people were asking, hey, if someone buys an NFT with OMI, specifically a Marvel one, does that 6% OMI, do you give OMI to Marvel, or do you sell the OMI, then give them the revenue, or do you kind of take the OMI and burn it and give it the 6% equivalent in terms of fiat to Marvel from your own accounts? Like, they're just unsure of how it works. So wondering if you shed some light on that.
For sure, yeah. And I don't know that this is completely locked in yet, but I think the system we're probably moving towards is that as a seller, you will still have to pay the fee, but you will pay the fee in gems, and then the OMI facilitates the rest of the transaction. Because we don't want to be in a situation where we have to sell any tokens, right? We don't want to put any sort of negative sell pressure on the token. Marvel is going to take their cut, but they're not ever going. They don't want OMI. You know, they're a huge company. They don't want your crypto. So no, I think that's the system we'll move towards. The seller will pay the fee in gems. The transaction will take place in OMI, so there's no sell pressure on the token. But we'll lock all that in closer.
So just for the Moon Boys at home. So could you just repeat? That Ecomi does not want to put negative sell pressure on the token.
Yes.
Some people think that. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people think, oh, they want to sell lots of OMI tokens, blah, blah, blah. Like, could you just repeat for these guys so they have it on record?
It is on record. We actively avoid any mechanism that would force us to sell the token. Like, it's not part of our ethos. It's definitely not part of the plan. I don't know what more I can say. I'm sure there'll be a new FUD tomorrow about something else, but
that's funny.
We're moving forward.
Exactly. Perfect. So another topic, so this is quite a kind of a big one, is related to the team and kind of their vision of what an ideal master collector program looks like. Recently, people have been talking more about it because there was a version circulating which kind of used OMI to gain levels. And some of us, we discussed it. We found some quite obvious flaws with purchasing levels with OMI, kind of like lacking the collectible aspect. So I just wanted to get more in terms of your insight and kind of like what the team's vision is with what an ideal master collector program should look like. Yeah.
Now, I can't dive into the specific details of it, but you're right. That model that was circulating definitely has some flaws, right? It was great if you have big bags of OMI, but you know, the idea that you could jump to the top master collector level without having any actual collectibles just does not make sense for this kind of platform, right? So everything we build in these situations has to be balanced, right? And it has to be balanced between new users and existing users, those who understand and have OMI, those who understand and have collectibles. And I guess that's why the system has always been, we allude to the fact that you'll be able to do different things to earn points, and those points will level up your ranking, right? Because it's just a fair way to be able to distribute that kind of advantage or that sort of power, right? And then you have the choice as the user. Well, maybe you want to go and stake some OMI because it will earn you points quicker, or you've already got a collection that will then sort of help you to rank up those levels. So yeah, any system that goes in has to be balanced between all of those parties. Now, staking is absolutely part of that, right? And it's a great utility to bring to the token. But I don't think we're going to see a system where you just can jump straight to the top because you have more money than other people. That's kind of against the point of the program. Yeah. And even with the staking, I mean, it's to earn rewards on the platform, right? So really, you want to involve people that enjoy using VeVe, and enjoy the experience and are supporting it, because that's really the point of it, right? To reward people who are engaging and sharing and enjoying the platform. So any system that we put in will always maintain those balances. I'm sure it's going to be just as iterative as what we already do, right? Like, I'm sure there'll be some things that do work better than others. Once we understand that interaction more, we can start to roll out additional features of the program. But until we get closer to it, I really don't have more details that we can release.
Yeah, perfect.
Do we know if there will be, I guess, like a snapshot of when it's released? So it'll be kind of like your total collectibles at that time, or like, let's say if you're a flipper and you've purchased 300, 400 collectibles, but now you're only sitting on 50 because you've flipped and built up your gems. So will it be on how many you've purchased in the long run, or will it be on like a snapshot of when it's released?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm assuming all the people that are active on the app now, like there's going to be some sort of retroactive reward, but I don't have the finer details. So yeah, until we get closer to it, I'll just leave it at that.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Perfect. Daniel, do you have any questions that you want to add?
In regards to Master Collector, or just in general?
Both is fine. Yeah, either one. Feel free to share your thoughts.
I had a really question about the VeVeVerse. I know you can't talk much about particulars, but you mentioned how the VeVeVerse is going to have light gamification. I was wondering if you could maybe briefly talk about that. But also, do you ever see the VeVeVerse going towards moderate gamification or heavy gamification? Where do you see the VeVeVerse going in the future in relation to what we have now on the app?
Yeah, I would refer to the Master Collector as light gamification. I think the gamification of the VeVeVerse in its early stages will be pretty light, I guess. But the idea is that develops to become a much more immersive and interactive experience. And I guess that whole experience is a form of gamification, right? You can interact, there's Easter eggs, there's activities, that kind of thing. I think longer term, we move into this realm of the digital theme park almost, where there is, we have all this branded content. We can build different experiences around those brands or around that content, so that, as a fan, you can go and interact with the things that you enjoy in a more immersive way. So whatever that becomes remains to be seen. Obviously, the VeVeVerse in itself will be a multi-year project or development, that will always be in development. But in 5 years' time or however long, I expect a full metaverse, with a whole range of gaming experiences and ways you can use your collectibles, ways you can earn revenue from your collections. And all of those are layers of gamification, right? There's different interactions there. Whether we see full, first-person RPGs, I'm not sure. But I assume there'll be a whole range of mini games, whether they're brand specific or anything like that. It'll develop as a metaverse should.
That sounds exciting, super exciting.
It does.
I've got a community question here. Just not really related to the VeVeVerse, but why did you move to Canada, Reese? Was it for business or pleasure?
It's always, always. No, look, I was just touching on this earlier, but I've traveled almost full time since I left school. You know, for more than 10 years now. Being in Australia for the last 18 months or longer was probably the longest time I've been there since I was 18. So this for me was just another step, just another adventure. I love Canada. It's a beautiful place. It's it's a great place to spend some time.
I'm jealous.
Fantastic. So just going back to the VeVeVerse topic. So a lot of us, we've kind of started to really truly see the impact that blockchain-based gaming and earning has had on the world. People who live in third world or developing countries, due to the pandemic, a lot of their livelihoods were affected. And there were platforms such as Axie's Infinity, there was another one called CryptoBlade. All of these kind of blockchain-based games started popping up, and they essentially create economies within themselves where people could earn very, very good salaries or just livings from these. And it's kind of proven the model now that you can have a token that can be used to contribute towards some kind of activity, which you can then use to kind of make an income from. So would the VeVeVerse kind of be taking this direction where your OMI token might be used in a way to maybe craft things, maybe accessories, which you can then trade or sell? Or could you earn maybe some tokens by doing activities? Would you be able to maybe share anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility, right? I can't really speak to how the ecosystem will develop in that direction. But as you said, like Axie Infinity and projects like that have truly proven the play to earn, like mentality behind these games, right? And as you said, like to see that potentiality, really giving people the opportunity to maybe lift themselves out of poverty by playing these games and earning tokens is a pretty incredible opportunity and a really incredible thing to provide. So, look, I think the earliest ways to earn some sort of income, it's not quite play to earn, would be more of a leasing your sets, or leasing your collectibles, or charging admission to your showrooms, those kind of things. But longer term, I mean, anything's possible, right? I know that we've spoken before that there's always that fine line. If you're giving out tokens, you don't want to be classified as a security. There's a lot of compliance and things there. But to that point, and you've raised this before, that if there is some sort of work taking place or some physical relationship, then it becomes a bit easier to facilitate that kind of thing. It just depends how our metaverse builds out. We have a different offering to a lot of other companies, and right now, the direction we're moving is definitely not in the play to earn space, at least it's not in the immediate sights, but who knows what this becomes in a few years' time. Like
Fantastic. I have a question coming from Goran ACD. So I think maybe this question might not be phrased correctly. So the question is, why every new VeVe account has the same chances for an ultra rare or secret rare as an account has been inactive for months with many. So I think what they're asking is, why is there the same chance for someone who is completely inactive on the app versus someone who's very active? And I believe the Master Collector program will aim to reward more active people with something collectible related. That's kind of what I've inferred.
Yeah. The Master Collector really helps to open that up, right? To be able to pinpoint people who are more active, offer rewards on that front, some priorities. At that point, it becomes a lot easier to sort of reward the more active users. But as to why new users have the same access as existing ones, because that's the fair way to do it. I mean, you can't just say, oh, you're new here, so you can't do anything. It's like you're new here. Everyone has the same chance at the same sort of collectible or the same drop. It's a great way to intro new people to the app and the ecosystem. If when you came in, you were just restricted for weeks, it just doesn't work that way. Yeah.
And also part of the like my personal opinion is I think it's part of the fun, right? Like the exciting of getting the drop. And if you got like life is all about kind of how do I say certainty and uncertainty. If you were certain you're going to get it every time, it kind of defeats the object of the drop, right? And on top of that, like someone new coming off of that, that's going to put off new users if they're not even going to have a chance of doing it because they're going to think I don't even have a chance anyway. Why bother? So. But like Taps has already answered it, you know, and you both said it's to be fair. I think that's very, very key.
Yeah, has to be, right? And everything we do, like whether it's new higher edition numbers or anything like that, like you're trying to make the experience as enjoyable for as many people as you can, while maintaining scarcity and rarity and the value in these assets, right? So it's always a balancing game. You know, you're trying to walk that line between what benefits the most people, while still making it fun and exciting, and you know that drop day thrill is just it's something.
Yeah, and it's and it brings like just like Kay has his misses. I got my misses to help me with the Spider-Man drop, and it's just something to do together, and it's something fun. So I do think it is a very, very good process, and that's kind of like my personal opinion anyway. Is that's like the bigger picture, right? Like it's bar the OMI, everything else. It's just to bring people to be able to have collectibles and have fun. You know, literally just have fun. So yeah.
If a new user came in and got a secret rare or an ultra rare like right off the bat, I mean they're hooked, right? Like they're all about it. It's Marvel. They see that it just shot up in value right away in the marketplace, so they're hooked. But then if it's also someone who's just a big Marvel fan and they didn't get it, if they're like most of us, they're like, well, how do I get the next one? So they're looking up and they're seeing all the little tips and tricks on YouTube and seeing VeVe Vault's like mashing technique and all that, which I used and it worked. And yeah, so like either way, either you win this one or you win the next one or the next one, but eventually you're gonna win, right? But it creates a lot of stickiness for new users as well as for us to keep coming back as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's a big part of the retention of the app. You know, that experience, that thrill. Like you don't know if you're going to get it. There's always so much frustration after a drop happens until they get delivered, and then everybody's happy again, and collectibles are being shown around, and it's crazy to watch that emotional swing, you know, from 10 or 15 minutes before the drop and the anticipation to just the chaos of that minute and a half or whatever, and then the celebrations after, you know, and like that's what keeps
celebrations or a lot of whiskey, one of the two.
Oh yeah,
that's me. I was drinking.
The green truck driver.
So I just had a couple of things from the comments. So firstly to Cavell Anderson, yes, this is live. Shout out to Chestnut who donated. Thank you so much for supporting. We have a question just on the banner. So this question actually I saw raised in the community Twitter by quite an influential person. They were saying, you know, VeVe, they have to introduce some kind of benefit for collecting, otherwise, you know, I will lose interest, blah, blah, blah. So do we know at all if sets will have some kind of benefit with the Master Collector program?
Yeah, I mean, completing sets, any sort of app participation is going to give you experience points or collector points, you know, so you level up your ranking there. So there's definitely that. Obviously, we've alluded to in the past, you know, the ability, it's not available yet, but if you have all of the Batman Black and White series, right, we can see that you're an avid Batman collector. So we might be able to bring you in on some specific Batman content that would be exclusive to you as a Batman collector or things like that. So all of those potentialities are there. We're definitely building in more and more ways to reward collectors and people for using the app. But until I have the specific details, I really can't speak too much to them.
Awesome. So what we just want to quickly do is we just wanted to share a surprise for you, Reese.
All right, ready? Let's do it.
So we're just gonna
give me 2 secs. Yeah, so everyone turn their camera off.
Do you want my camera off, or am I just?
No, Reese, you gotta stay on.
I hope you lot come back in cosplay.
Right. Lads, type me on Telegram when you're ready. Whilst they're getting ready, I'm just going to quickly say a shout out to all the other content creators out there. I think there's VeVe Vault, Orange Lady, Cavell, and anyone else that I've missed. Niall as well. I've been watching your videos. Really, really insightful, buddy.
Yeah, same deal. Shout out to everybody who creates content. Like, it's wild to watch the reach, you know, and everybody's audiences grow. And I learn most of the stuff that I know about the company from you guys these days. You know, I'm like, what's going out today?
Like, do we have Pokemon now? I can't remember.
Nice try.
So every day on official Ecomi Telegram is a new adventure.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
Tats, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh no, you covered up Taps. I can't see Taps. I lost Daniel. We've also...
Is this
Where
the
Daniel... Where did Daniel Lee go as well? Oh, there we go. Hide the comment. Okay, I can't see Daniel Lee.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna play the music too.
I didn't know what music it was. I can't remember what music it was.
Kay, have you just got a shirt on your head, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna
Yeah,
wig.
I'm disappointed,
I've
Kay.
used the budget wig.
King of props.
Spend all my money
So,
on the Spider-Man. Had to go with
I
a shirt.
loved that meme, Reese. It was too much.
That was like that 12 minutes in that stream of my head was a lot.
I'm gonna keep this on for a little bit because I'm gonna make the most of buying it.
That's it. Got to get your money's worth. Right?
We have a very interesting question. So, in the spirit of me stalking all of your old articles, Reese, I did actually see, for nostalgia purposes, a very old roadmap, and in it spoke something about a kind of a loot box subscription kind of model. And someone's just asked a question similar to that. So they're asking about blind box subscriptions, like you pay £15 a month in OMI tokens, and then you might get a box that could give you some kind of something. Do you have any thoughts on something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely been part of the conversation for a while. You know, there's a few opportunities to maybe add some subscription service type things, whether it's like a loot box, but maybe you guys have more insight on this. Wasn't there some legal issue with loot boxes recently? Have you seen anything on that? Like, there seems to be a differentiation, like a blind box kind of drop or reveal seems to be okay, but a loot box falls into a bit of a gray area. Maybe
to do with Fortnite.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Fortnite had some issues with selling skins, but I don't remember the details. Do any of you guys know about that?
No,
or anyone in the comments?
It was a night.
We'll find something on it. Either way, look, it's definitely part of the conversation, whether it becomes like a chest or something like that. Same deal. I don't think you could win OMI from that, just on that security line.
I think that's more than gambling. Pay OMI to potentially win more OMI.
Maybe that's what the issue was with loot boxes too. Maybe there was some sort of like gambling gray area that could kind of get you into trouble. But I mean, we want to try and build in more of those experiences for sure. The blind boxes are a huge step in that direction, right? We've been building towards the tech for that. Now, obviously, we're going to get blind box collectible releases and blind box style comic book drops, right? Where you don't know what the cover is that you get, and you have a 1 in X chance of an ultra rare or a common or whatever. So, we're about to see some big changes to the collectible experience on the app, and we'll keep adding those kind of things as we go. But yeah, I personally like the idea of whether it's a monthly box or some sort of reward or prize. I think those kind of things can probably be built into the master collector as well. Like if you earn a certain amount of points in a day, you get some extra reward maybe, or the opportunity to win this chest. There's obviously going to be like more Easter eggs come to the platform as well, a few upgrades, unexpected bits and pieces as we go along. We're just going to keep on adding as many cool, exciting collectible features as we can, just so the whole experience is more fun as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what's coming next. I mean, I was blown away when I found out that the Marvel Mighties, for example, were exclusive to VeVe. It's like made for VeVe. So I suspect, people who, want something very unique, collectible, especially Marvel fans, that will be a true like point to hook them in, because I've seen like the effect that exclusive, like very exclusive collectibles have had. Like for example, in London, they did a event where they had a very exclusive collectible, and this is actually the exclusive collectible they had, and you can see it's like a whole London theme. So yeah, and people were lining up like crazy for it, buying multiples. So I suspect something exclusive to VeVe definitely will be quite nice.
Yeah. This is their debut. I don't know if they're going to make a physical counterpart of these, but either way, like to have the opportunity to be the first people to bring this product to market is it's pretty incredible, and yeah, it's to have the support of Marvel, to have them obviously pushing out all of this content now and media support for us obviously is huge. I mean, we're still a startup at the end of the day, right? Like this product has only been live for 8 months. To be in this position now where a company like that is throwing their weight behind us is it's pretty humbling. It definitely it makes all the hard work worth it. So
yeah, that's really crazy. Exciting. Yeah, that's really really cool.
I have a question. So we were, teased back a little while back on AMA, I can't remember which one it was, about the mini games. Do we know if the mini games will be exclusive to like our showrooms, or do we have like the ability to do like a mini game in AR and like real life or anything like that? Like kind of like how OVR, you can go on a treasure chest hunt and augmented reality, like in a park or anything like that. But do we know anything, I guess, more around like the mini game side and what that'll look like?
Nothing's really been revealed on that front. I think there will be a mix. I think there will be some mini games you can maybe walk into somebody's showroom and play, right? And like I've always liked the idea of like the claw, the skill tester things. Like you could have something like that in people's showroom. And you come back every day and you have a chance of winning a prize, or
steal someone's
collectible cool. Once a day or something like that.
Like we could really build in some really cool, just little experiences like that while we're on the way to the VeVeVerse, which obviously becomes more robust. As to the overlay, we've definitely discussed, an AR layer of the VeVeVerse that may be somewhat akin to like a Pokemon Go style experience where there's markers in the real world and you go and collect things or whatever. But I think that's down the line. That's definitely not we're bringing it out next week kind of development. But I think that would be really cool, right? Especially, and I allude to this all the time, but as wearables become more prevalent and people are wearing AR glasses, and it becomes easier to have a digital overlay over the physical world because you're not tethered to your phone anymore. You don't have to hold it up in front of you to enjoy the experience. I think from that point, we're really going to blur the lines. I mean, us as a company, but like as a civilization, the lines will blur between physical and digital when you have that opportunity to overlay things. And I'm curious to see where that goes too.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
I think VeVe is definitely in a very good position. Because there have been a lot of successful products to take inspiration from, like you mentioned, Pokemon Go. Because I had a conversation about this with a few people, Brock as well, kind of introducing quests that you could do in the app. So, for example, collect 5 different Batmen and you get a reward, or own 3 different first editions. Or first appearances, and you get some kind of reward. Things like that, kind of like very light gamification on the app. I think that would be quite fun for people. Get 100 followers, so then you get follow spammed everywhere again.
Exactly. Yeah, and you get badges for it, or little things to represent it. Right. That's the idea behind the Master Collector. That there are these little rewards and incentives for those kind of things. Maybe we all get a season 1 badge for everyone who's been here, that was here for the first 6 months. Like there's a lot of those kind of little rewards, little badges that frankly we all love to show off. There's definitely that element to it. I love seeing people, it's in their bios or whatever, join VeVe this date. There's some clout around first got into the app or first joined the community, you know, and like
yeah.
the red OMI circle, like that is just the most amazing badge that we could have, you know. I open Twitter and it's just, that's all I see, you know. Everybody I talk to, everyone, I'm like, everybody thinks the same way I do because we're all massive OMI fans. Like
OMI homies.
OMI homies, right? But to have those symbols, like something to rally behind or identify yourself with, whether it's a badge in the app or something like that on Twitter, is it really adds strength to the community, you know.
It's branding, right?
Yeah, it's just
totally.
It's unreal. Shout out Kyle Wilson for coming up with the red OMI. So
there's a comment here saying, Reese, are you the most patient person in the world?
I've built some skills. Over the years. Yeah.
I actually second that.
It's easier to be patient and address these things when you have the conviction, you know, and like we've been building this for years. Obviously I have more knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes than we make publicly available. It makes it easier for me to approach it every day because I have that strength in conviction. I have that confidence of what we're doing. I'm part of the vision, you know, and all of us together are helping to guide that to the place it should be. So yeah, it's way more exciting than it is frustrating. That's for sure.
Just a quick one from the community as well. So I don't know if this has kind of just been overlooked or forgotten, but when blue check mark on Twitter?
We've hit them up.
Yeah.
Right, you have to apply for it. We have. They've registered for it now. Whenever Twitter decides that they want to be friends with us, we'll get it.
It takes time though, doesn't it? Because you have to do the application, then they either get back to you, and it's mainly about. I think they prioritize scamming accounts. Like I think that's
right.
I remember. Yeah, a lot of my friends who have the tick use them because obviously when you don't have the tick you get scammed, so that's the easiest way to identify for the time being anyway.
And to apply for it, like you have to actually fall into a certain category, whether you're a personality or a media company. If you are a company, you have to be able to show your mentions in mainstream media, things like that, which obviously we have oodles of now, but really a month ago we probably didn't have that much out. So I guess they just look into it when they look into it. So
someone said the artwork behind your back is an Easter egg. There's going to be a gold and silver onion rings coming to VeVe.
Definitely an definitely.
I love it when they speculate.
When secret rare gold and onion ring.
Yeah.
Burger King onion ring.
Yeah. That's What you guys? You're running a quiz next week, right? Do you want to?
Yes. Should we share some details on that? I'll let Wannabe Champ.
Yeah, we will confirm the date and time when that will be coming. So we've already got the creators confirmed. So I can't off the top of my head remember every single one of them, but there I believe is 9 in total, and that is also including Reese. I think Trevor, you said, is coming. Kay, is that right?
Yeah, Trevor would like to help out.
Nice.
Yes, I'm with this duck. So what it will be is ultimately we'll be doing AMA. So the first 20 minutes, I think it would be nice just to kind of like quick fire random questions to everyone, each and every one. And then the second part will be a quiz. Now for the quiz, everyone can participate. So it's literally something for you guys who are watching, and also the YouTubers who will be joining us. So we will be giving away prizes. We're still in the process of doing that, but they are prizes that I'm super excited about. And that will be given back to kind of like a random selection, so everyone gets a chance to win it. And also if you get I think like place top 1 or 2 or something like that in the quiz, you will also win the prizes too. So if you guys have any questions, just whack them in the section, or just message Kay or myself, or Taps or Daniel Lee, any one of us.
Yeah, and we'll sort out some prizes as well for that. And so I guess we're finally going to find out who the king YouTuber is. King or
Yeah. They can have that. Actually, to be honest, that's quite cool. Actually, the way you said that, Reese, because then they can have that title. Until the next one.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. I like it. We had the VeVe art show, right? We had our winners of that. We've just had the VeVe meme masters, right? And now we're going to have the king of the influencer, right?
I'm just gonna, Cavell, I'm just gonna call you out because you said you're the king of YouTubers. So you better win that quiz, mate, because you're gonna be in the quiz as well.
Start studying.
It's time for Cavell to be great.
Are we able to take side bets? Because I think my money would be on Kyle. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start a pool.
Guys.
Yeah.
I got my money on K just because number one is. Oh, actually, no, he's doing the quiz with me.
I'm doing it with you. I can't participate. Yeah, for the community quiz, we're going to be using a platform called Kahoot.
Yeah. How does it work? Everyone just signs up and joins the quiz?
Yeah, so basically, it's a free to use platform. All you need is on the screen there will be a PIN code that you need to enter onto your device that you're joining on. So you can use your phone, your desktop, tablet, whatever it is. You give yourself a name. Once everyone's in the room, we can start the quiz. So it's going to be done live. You will see a series of questions one by one. The questions are multiple choice, and you can have text-based questions. You can have questions that include pictures. So you could say, which artist created this, for example, as an example of a question. And at the end, basically, you'll see after each question, there will be the current leaderboard. So you get points for the correct answer and also how fast you answer. And if you are on a streak, so you've answered several correct questions in a row, I think there's like a bonus multiplier as well. And then at the end, you get kind of like the top 5 scorers. And it's really fun because you can actually play with hundreds of people concurrently. So you could literally have, maybe say 1,000 OMI homie guys and girls just sat there trying to compete against each other. And then at the end, we can see, who it is that's in the top 5, for example. So
Mr.
it gets very, very competitive.
Yeah.
Mr. K, is this going to be an open book quiz?
So I thought about this because you can assign how long you can have per question. And I'm basically going to make it long enough that you can think, but short enough so that you can't just Google the answer to every question.
Yeah.
So it's not going to
That's what it's got to be.
1 minute a question. It's like maybe 15 seconds a question.
Yeah.
I want to read this comment. Cavell goes, if he doesn't win, he's suing us all for slander, ruining his reputation. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Suing us for slander. Suing us for slander.
Sorry, not sorry. But fun fact: Kay used to be a teacher, so with taps that made it extra funny when you put your hand up.
Yeah, teaching days.
Yeah,
that's probably why I have the patience to deal with the constant same questions every day. Because like 12-year-old kids, they ask the same question constantly every day, and you just get fed up, or they're trying to wind you up, I think, because they know that it's going to get on your nerves. So that's kind of like how I see a lot of these people who say every single day, when OMI utility, when OMI utility, when new exchange, when OMI utility. I don't know how you put up with it, Reese. Like, what do you drink to put up with it?
It's just how it is, man. It's just like, I've dealt with this for 4 years now, and like, you just get used to it. It comes out when it comes out. The new announcements come out when they're ready. Like, I can't get caught up in the day-to-day anymore because I don't have the brain power for it. Like, it doesn't
the rabid impatience of so many is insane. Like you just said yourself, 8 months ago, everything went live. You guys were building for years, but I work with like startup companies every day, and like sometimes they go out of ghosts or stealth mode, and they're nowhere near the awareness or as much traction as you had so fast in 8 months. Yeah. So, and those are separate from crypto, like, just technology companies. So the fact that you guys do as much as you do and have accomplished as much as you've accomplished, and then like keep us in the know is highly impressive, separate from just being in a crypto company. So, cheers to you guys for dealing with all of us winners.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, we all love having these conversations too, and like for the couple of years while we built, I was really the only person people spoke to. Right? Dan and David were always busy, obviously getting things done. They weren't really in the public eye, at least not like they are now. And we all know how much David Yu loves chatting to people on these things. Like I love seeing his comments and those kind of things, but really I attribute that to how the experience has always been for him in this industry. Like he used to run his gaming stores, right? Games R Us, Vagabond Games, and you would have the opportunity to talk to the customer and understand what they wanted in your store and which products were performing better and those kind of things. So really, I think he's just taken that experience and is utilizing the digital world for it now as well. But it's, there is no other, there's no real other opportunity or business like this where you get constant rolling feedback, and although 90% of that might literally be when this or when that, the other 10% is like really valuable. It really helps us to pinpoint where the friction points are and the pain points and to really start building around those to improve that part of the experience, And I mean, for all of you guys that have been around since the start of the year, like the experience of VeVe now compared to 3 months ago, 4 months ago is night and day, like some of those early drops were the most frustrating things I've ever been a part of. You have to wait.
You'll never know.
Yeah, you never knew, right? You had to wait a day or two. You got random error messages.
Yeah.
I actually quite enjoyed that. That was fun.
Well,
I did not.
Well, it's fun for you, Kay, not fun for me.
Yeah, you got
I got my 5
17 ultra
DeLoreans
rare
from that. Like,
DeLoreans.
error message,
Hold on a
negative
second.
gems. What happened?
Yeah, Kay. That was like me and John trying to
thanks,
buy
5
that
DeLorean.
DeLorean.
yeah, it's but that was the reward for being there early too, right? Like if you put up with the frustrations and you dealt with it and you still saw through those little barriers, you got some of the earliest and probably the most coveted collectibles that will ever be on the platform. So it's the early adoption is always going to benefit people, and now we have all been able to shape and enjoy the experience to bring us to where we are now. And all of those iterations, and everybody can understand how much work is going on behind the scenes all the time. And that's a good thing too, right? Like you guys said, I mean, I still to this day and have never really had the opportunity to be this involved with another company, where I speak to the founders or I have that insight. But it's important to me, right? If I had this available with every company that I wanted to invest in, I'd be much more confident in my investments, and that's a big part of the reason why we keep showing up too. We want to let you guys know as much as we possibly can so you can understand what is going on and what it takes to create this kind of company.
And I think
we just have a quick question on the stream. Someone asked, is there a wait list for companies wanting to get into VeVe?
That's interesting.
Like I'm assuming we're talking brands, licensors?
Yeah. Brands, licensors, is there like a waiting list?
Not a waiting list per se. We get contacted every week by new companies. There is a way for licensors and brands to get in touch with us on the VeVe website, VeVe.me, I think. It's not so much like you go into a wait list. It's once you start these conversations, sometimes the initial deal happens really quickly, and then it goes through months of legal sign-offs, and then it depends on. Then once it's all finalized, then we might start developing the assets. That will take months to build and back and forth and all of those things. So it's not so much that there's a wait list. It's more just like there's quite a long lead time from initial conversation to actually launching something on the platform, especially if the assets have to be built, right? If it's a gaming company or someone who comes with templates or some sort of, almost ready digital asset, then obviously that timeline can be shortened. And some drops just happen quicker than others, right? The Givenchy drop, that all came together really quickly and kind of happened within the space of a couple of months or whatever it was, compared to, say, a Marvel where, the deal has been in the works for more than a year to go from those initial contracts to launching something. Hopefully that answers the question. Yeah.
Nice KFC, Kay.
I was getting hungry.
Every stream you've got KFC. So just to ask the question for Reese is from the orange bag lady. She goes, question for the big man: what old school cartoons did he watch when he was a wee one, and could they come to VeVe? So what did you watch when you were a little one? Yeah,
I was a Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z kid.
Snap! You like Dragon Ball Z?
Oh, wait, what was that? Could you repeat that, Reese?
That was
what kind of kid?
every morning before primary school in Australia, it was called Cheese TV, and it was like your 6 till 9 cartoons or whatever. And yeah, it was always Pokemon, then Dragon Ball Z, and then I'd like run to primary school because I'd be late every day.
I love that.
But they were my they were my cartoons. I would love to see them on VeVe. I can't. This is in no way any sort of illusion or compliment. But
You cut out Reese, what?
yeah,
What do you say? What do you say?
if I can get like a Goku doing a spirit bomb one day or something crazy like that, like, you know, that's what I'll go for. Especially if you have to wait like 10 days before that spirit bomb is ready because
Yeah, we gotta power up. We gotta power up and all the rocks gotta float.
And then the longer
Actually,
you have Goku, then the more different Super Saiyan he has, right?
Yeah.
And you have to train him every day. Oh, that'd be sick.
That'd be cool.
There was actually a lot of conversation on this because someone shared that the VeVe collectible account, so the actual VeVe collectible Instagram account, was liking Toy Tokyo pictures, and they were liking all of the Dragon Ball Z Band Presto figures on Toy Tokyo, like these kind of ones, and everyone's just like, "Oh no, VeVe's doing their breadcrumb thing again."
Viewed again.
Sometimes people read way too far into those things.
Yeah,
It's
pretty intense.
It is hard to discern because like we are all fans of these brands and shows and things like that. Sometimes it's one of us just trolling and actually enjoying that content, you know, and half the time we probably forget we're on the VeVe account when we're locking things.
Actually, it sounds like a crazy girlfriend or a crazy ex watching what you like and say, "You like that girl?"
And then you go and see if we're following them on Twitter. And
You sound way too familiar with that.
That's it.
It's scary times.
Yeah.
But to be honest, when people have done this, there have been some cases where it's actually come true with following Marvel. That came true. There were some other ones I've forgotten now.
The website with Marvel that came to me in UK. That was really interesting.
Even some of the artists too, like Frank Kozik and
the artist ones. Yep.
Yeah,
cool.
you're right. Yeah, some of them have come true. I've actually made a point now of if we don't already follow an artist that's coming out, I'll wait until we release an article before I'll go follow them all. Just to get ahead. Some of them come true. I know a lot of people follow anything that David Yu is following. Right. I've seen people go through the people he's following on Clubhouse and make assumptions about.
Wow.
You know, it's it's a funny thing to watch.
That's savage.
Yeah. But also,
anymore.
How fun is the speculation? You know?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's funny, you know, and as frustrating as it can be, like. It's exciting. It's exciting to try and guess what's coming and what we've got.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the biggest things about when we released the Marvel news, like it really validated obviously what we're doing and from a company point of view. But I think that was the first time people really put together the caliber of company that we have been talking to and have access to, you know, because that put us a league above any other sort of collectibles company at the moment. And there's other companies and brands that are of that caliber or, you know, like have that same sort of reach or impact in their own field or fandom. So, yeah, I mean, I love seeing the speculation. I love opening Twitter and seeing like someone's found an image from a pixel in the top corner of some background thing. Like,
it's pretty funny though. It's so amusing.
It's crazy. Yeah. I love it.
You know what I would find really funny is because some of the speculation is just so obscure, like so ridiculous. But if by pure chance what they're speculating actually the license came true, but nothing to do with their speculation. So, for example, when David Yu pulled out his white gloves to hold his Rabbit Grin statue, people saw the white gloves and they're like, "Oh, the white gloves, those look like the white gloves that Mickey Mouse wears. I think this means Disney confirmed." But if hypothetically Ecomi did come out with like something to do with Disney, that person would just have so much validation in their own mind. It would be so
100%.
hilarious. It's like, I told you, the white gloves, they leaked it.
Actually, Kay,
I bet they brought it back up during the whole Tech Live thing. They're like, "Oh, these white gloves are not Kaw's white gloves. These are Mickey's white gloves." So confirmed.
Yeah, had to be confirmed. Yeah, you're right. I think about like 5 minutes after that video went out with the white gloves, I think I saw a Mickey Mouse thing. Like it was just, yeah,
That's actually too funny.
people are so on point. It cracks me up. And you're right. You know, I feel like some people just make as many predictions as they can, so that
Yeah.
if they come true, they can come back to it and say, "I told you." Like,
Told you so.
yeah. But it's
But Kay, you wore the Hulk hat, and they speculated Marvel, and Marvel came true. So that guy got validation.
That just made it worse for me because it makes people think that I knew about Marvel in advance, and they're like, "Oh no, the YouTubers, they have insider info. They get like all the low mint numbers." Ecomi literally gift wraps the low mint drops and gives it to all the YouTubers.
Sends them out. Yeah,
That's literally what I see.
That's actually too funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. Look, anytime people feel like, they people seem to forget that you have like tens of thousands of people going for 1,000 items or something like that, right? And can't accept the fact that they're just hard to get. So they'll look for any reason, like, oh, you've got more information than me, or you talk to the team more, or whatever. Whereas, like, I don't think people really give you guys enough credit. You know, like the amount of time and energy you put into creating content, piecing these things together, doing these streams and interviews. Like it's like, thank you to all of you for all the content you all produce. You know, and frankly, thank you for putting up with the flack that you cop for it. You know, it's ridiculous to see that people that take the time to leave some of these comments, but
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We love you too, Reese.
Yeah.
Part of the fun.
Yeah.
What's this one? What do we got?
Do you
envision VeVe getting actor likeness as collectibles one day? Keanu Reeves as John Wick or Neo, or Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn?
Margot Robbie, damn.
So just to give people some insight on that, the actor's likeness side of things is usually a completely separate license, right? That'll be by like the film studio, because they're the ones that cast it and whatever, right? So to get likeness rights is actually a really hard thing. It's not impossible, obviously. With the Bill and Ted announcement you guys would have seen, that's the first offering we will have where we have the likeness rights for Keanu and Winter, I think the other guy's name is, which is really exciting, right? So you will actually be able to collect like a little Keanu Reeves doll. As to whether that happens with other films or other things moving forward, it just depends on the licensing side of things. Can we acquire the IP license plus the studio license? Does it make sense to do that too, right? I know that we all attach a certain image to a character now because of the film industry, right? Like Thor to me is a burly Australian man, you know, whereas Thor, the actual character, before the Marvel films came out, had his own look and feel. So I think initially for a lot of those brands will stay true to the actual brand. But as we expand that license offering, like I see the day where we really get into that digital merchandising side of things. So if you go along to a Marvel movie, then there's an opportunity to then have access to Marvel digital content. You know, we become like the gift shop. And in those instances, as we start to work more closely with all of the studios and that kind of thing, the likeness rights are definitely something we'll offer if it's available to us.
I immediately think of like the I can't remember which collectible it was that came out that was attached to the CLC creative licensing, and how they have, you know, Ace Ventura and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Terminator, all those guys. So hopefully we'll see something tied to that license, because I think that was one that kind of went underwhelmed or like overlooked from the community, because that's a pretty big license.
Yeah. I actually, in that article, normally I'd talk about the licensors and end it, but I put the little about creative licensing blurb at the bottom so people would click through and check out their portfolio too. Really, really interesting company, you know, to have like kind of all those old film properties and things like that, and to still be merchandising for those films. You know, they're still around because they still resonate, I guess. You know, like everybody's seen Terminator, things like that. So hopefully we see more from them as well. And I guess we've brought this up a few times, but like every step on this journey, every new brand or licensor is just another node in the network, right? And you get to know more and more of the people in power, and you're connected to more artists or more brands, and it just keeps opening that opportunity.
Just a quick one from Ryan. So I think this is just more of a confirmation, but so OMI, when it's bought back, that is to top up the reserve wallet. So that is not burned, but burned OMI is removed from circulation pretty much forever. That is correct, right?
Yeah. So I think this question is just asking when are the tokens taken from the circulating supply, which is what the buybacks do. Yeah. At the moment, the burns come from the reserve, or you buy gems, tokens go from the reserve to the vault, and then when you spend the gems, they get burnt. That's burning the total supply, right? So we're reducing the total supply over time, but the buybacks are what are reducing it from the circulating supply at this point in time. Once we move over to immutable and we build in that OMI to NFT, staking, there's going to be quite a number of other mechanisms for you to use your tokens, with the intention being that, they might give you some sort of access on the app, and you're burning them straight out of your supply or circulating supply too. So, as this user base grows and OMI becomes more prominent in the app, there's more things to do with it, that the burn rate will increase from the circulating supply, because as token holders, it will be our choice as to how we want to use it. So.
You mentioned as you guys continue to grow, we had a conversation on Twitter the other day, me and a couple of people, but I'm curious, with the 30% fee that's coming as a loss for Ecomi, and I mean, every company has a P&L, right? But is that going to be an issue as you guys scale and grow, or how, I guess, is that going to be overcome? I know that the web wallet's coming, so that'll kind of neutralize some of that. And then I'm not sure if OMI to NFT is a workaround of that as well, but can you kind of address that kind of worry from some of the community? Yeah,
I mean, I think we spoke about it, Taps. Once the web platform is available, we're really expecting a lot of the experience to move there, right? And that will become more of a browser, so you can show off your collections and really enjoy the experience still. But I think it will be more useful on the web platform. Now, obviously, when we're running things ourselves on the web, we can accept payment through that platform as well. Excuse me. I'm really hoping that eventually, that helps us open to other forms of payment too. Whether we do lean more heavily into crypto and can accept Tether or whatever stable coins are going, later down the line. Hopefully, it also balances out the exchange rate fees that people are paying through the app stores, that kind of thing. So I think once the web platform is live, it gives us a lot more potential there. In terms of the 30% fee, I mean, it's just how you have to pay it. It's
right.
Pay to play in the app stores. You have to accept it. It's obviously been accounted for in the way that we run the business. I don't think there's any concerns there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, but I wanted to just kind of ask, because like Spotify and plenty of other mobile native companies have just scaled with that just being a constant thing, right? But the advantage you guys have is that you are going to have that web access, and I feel like a lot of people will lean that way. I know I will, because that's going to be easier to build the showroom. But also, unless I'm on vacation and trying to do a drop and I didn't top off my gems before I left, I'm going to pretty much only be buying gems from the computer side. So I think that'll definitely make it a little bit easier. Yeah,
for sure. And look, there's going to be, we'll have to tread carefully. Obviously, we don't want to get into any issues with app stores. There's always that blow up if you're accepting payments offline or whatever. Android seems to be pretty fine with all of those things. They give you a lot more freedom over the way you run things. Apple maybe not so much, but we'll tread that line when the time comes and find the right balance. Yeah, but we have a lot more economic fluidity as the user base grows as well, right? There's more people. More people are participating in different ways. It gives us a lot more sort of leeway. Like, it'll still be pretty touch and go to start, because we're establishing the systems and we're learning how people are using it and where the opportunity lays and any holes that we would need to consider. But this has been in the works for years, so it's all pretty done and dusted.
And just to touch off of what Tap said earlier, in terms of like you guys just being, operating properly for 8 months for a startup, quote unquote startup company to be turning over the amount you are turning over in the first year, the transparency you guys kind of give out, I think like you said, as an investor, is actually a bit of a no-brainer, right? Literally a no-brainer. And also the constant development of what you said with the experience, I think that goes hand in hand, like with the backtrack. You're talking about experience of making things moving forward and learning and applying those lessons moving forward. But you know, with David and Dan C, their past experiences of the companies and directors, and like you said, the games, they're already applying that now, which is enabled it to kind of have that boostage of where it's going. So I think those kind of statements as a whole should give that kind of clarity and, how do I say, a peace of mind, if that makes sense, like that this is here to stay and we're not going anywhere, and just wait and watch. And I'm sure you have that all the time on Twitter and stuff like that, where you're thinking, just wait and see, just wait and see until what we've got. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. And then this was a really cool question, because someone actually made a video about this, because on the VeVe side with NFTs, a lot of people obviously can buy them and sell them for quite a different amount, and obviously marketplace has its own pricing. Faisal asked here, can we have a feature which reflects our collectibles current value without selling it, like as a whole? I think it would mean. Does that make sense?
The value of their whole collection, you mean?
Yeah, I think it would be easy to make a base value, right? Because your base value would be just what they bought it at. So if it was like a common, it was 40 gems, and then you just add that up and have an addition. But I think in terms of market value, that might be more beneficial, presumably. Think.
Yeah. So the system is already kind of in development. It was built before, right? We used to have a feature in there where you could see what you paid for it, at least, and then see, right? But the whole idea with the next iteration is that, you know, it might take the average sale price of, you know, like let's just say you're selling a Donny, right? Or you've got a Donny in your collection. It'll tell you, it'll average the previous 10 sale prices and then give you a market value of that collectible, right? And so like a market appraisal. And then also be able to get that for your whole collection too. So yeah, all that data is definitely going to be available.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you want it, right? You want real-time price data.
Yeah.
What is this thing worth? Is it a good opportunity right now to maybe buy this or sell this or all that kind of thing? Because like fundamentally, we're trying to build a rich enough feature set that it helps to supplement the economy of VeVe, right? And that economy is in and out of collectibles, soon to be in and out of OMI. You know, there's so many different participants in the app, right? There's some people that will buy and hold the early collectibles for the next 5 or 10 years. There's some people that flip them, right? There's new people, there's old people. Like everyone has their own use and intention for the platform.
Correct.
So yeah, the more information we can provide on that front, I think that just the more holistic the experience for everybody. But also like, I want those features, you know, just good things to have too, you know? So
I like what you said. Like there's no right or wrong way for these collectibles. Some collect them to hold and then sell later. Some just want to hold them for 5 years, and I totally resonate with that. Me, I guess me and Kay the opposite. I just want to buy the ones I like. Kay just tries to buy every single one of them.
Right. I'm the same. I go for the collectibles that I like, whereas like some of the people, it's every drop they're going for something, and like, you know, credit to them, right? If you manage to get some of those rares or ultra rares and you can sell them the next day for 5 times the price, like there's an economy there already, you know, like it exists.
100%.
How many collectibles do you have, Reese?
How many what, sorry?
How many collectibles do you have?
Maybe like 60-ish.
All Mermacornos though, right?
I've got some.
Yeah. A lot of mine are like the very early ones, you know, like
60 Resos.
I wish. No, I mean, after like 2 or 3 months, it just became so much harder to get collectibles. I wish all of you stopped playing. Like my life is.
I got the Mermicons. My wife made me buy it.
Man, the Mermacornos they've been the funniest test case for this thing, you know, like even the Cryptkids, like when they sold out, right? I mean, no one knew what they were the week before, and then
sold out.
Yeah. Crazy to see. But I'm looking forward to the next Mermacorno release whenever that happens. The next time be good to see.
We've got another question here. I'm going to give you the option to answer it, or one of the others want to answer it, because you've been non-stop. My question to Reese is, why should I invest in OMI over other NFT projects. Currently hold 0 and looking to place more money. Licenses, brands of size, minimal impact on price.
Yeah.
Do you want us to answer that?
Yes. Yeah. How about it?
Not financial advice.
Not yet.
What's the kind of elevator pitch for Ecomi, basically?
Do you know what? I thought it was really funny when Randy was on it. He goes, "This is not a financial advice, but I used to be a financial advisor." Daniel Lee, do you want to give that a crack, and then I'll add some at the end. I've got my kind of.
I want to throw in too.
Yeah, go on then, Daniel, then Taps, and me.
I mean, it's a token that's associated with a legitimate project with real licenses, and I think it's the way of the future if you want to invest in the NFT sector. Just a basic summary.
Feels like a sales pitch. Taps next.
Go. A little bit longer, but that was great.
Go for it.
So I mean, I imagine the reason that he's asking that is because we're seeing a ton of NFT projects, or like specifically NFT gaming projects, that are shooting up, right? And it's very distracting to see them, like, shoot up 80%, 90%, 100+%. But a lot of those projects are going to shoot up and then drop back down, and then they're going to be either dead for like forever, or they'll come back eventually once they've actually built what they're trying to build. So it's very distracting, but it's a great swing trade. But if you're actually looking for a project that is an investment and is going to stick around and going to last this bear cycle or this bull cycle through the bear cycle to the next bull cycle, Ecomi's that project, because they've built very different from most other NFT projects. And as we've seen, IP brand is king, and it's getting the awareness that they need. So if you're looking for a true investment, OMI is going to only grow from where it currently is. And once utility comes, I mean, it's going to be that much more. I've mentioned before, but it's basically like getting into a Series A or B company before it goes IPO in public, right? You're going to make a lot more money, or at least have a smarter investment if you get in earlier than when it's released to everybody else.
Correct.
Just to, I just wanted to add, like, just one key point on why I chose specifically Ecomi over all other projects, and this is the point I always reiterate: is compliance. Ecomi, they've got a full legal team. They work extremely compliantly. It's a point that so many people overlook, because they're looking at kind of all of the kind of jazzy sort of things, like, oh, what did their product look like? What kind of brands, licenses are coming? But some companies, they've got all of the kind of like nice looking things, but they get caught out by compliance. They get sued, or they get fined for some regulatory slip up, and that's like terrible for investments. We saw that happen with Ripple. Ripple lost like 90% of its value. That was ridiculous. And if that happened to hypothetically, if OMI lost 90% of its value today, there would be ridiculous amounts of kind of FUD in the community, and it'll be I mean, I've seen it happen with other projects, and that's why I'm pretty happy with Ecomi, is the fact that they're working so compliantly. It's like kind of I can sleep easier at night knowing I'm not going to wake up to, some headline that says, "Hey, SEC after Ecomi, blah blah blah."
Yeah. So I think Taps and K lined it up nicely for me, because ultimately, when it comes to trading and investing as an overall, even if you made money on another NFT platform or another company or whatever, and it didn't actually have the right fundamental basis, like Tap says, that will dump. Why would it dump? Because the use case is never going to be there. The long-term investors are not going to be there. The long-term project, the long-term vision is not going to be there. And also there's going to be a ceiling with the development ultimately, right? They'll be like, okay, we're here now. We've made X amount. This is our market cap. This is as much as we can go. What next? And that's where you're going to get that downfall. And then in terms of with the XRP situation, XRP is a prime example. Yes, they got the lawsuit, but their use case and everything about it still makes sense. That's why even with a lawsuit, it still went up as far as $2, and that still will break that when the time comes, this, that, and the other. But we won't go into that. And then let's take that back into the making money on crap. Ultimately, if you make your money on crap, there's a fine line between, like, I think gambling and like a pure investment, right? Because ultimately, if you've got 5 projects and you've just invested in one of them's 100x, but it makes no sense, and you don't understand why, that is very, very, very different from investing in a very undervalued company which has a solid use case and has a long-term projection. Now, rather than just thinking about your money makes money, think about the overall like focus of the company, right? What are the CEOs? What are the people running the company? And what are they like? the fact that they're this transparent, you're like, oh wow, okay, they've got this much of a track record. That means if they've done it once, they'll do it again. They'll do it again, but faster time frame, because they've got that experience and they can bring that, all of that to the new company. So ultimately, I think like OMI right now doesn't really reflect what it really truly is. If you want to ignore the licenses and brands as an overall on that kind of process, their token makes sense, everything else makes sense, their team makes sense. It's just when, and this may be a slower return of investment, but the difference is the fundamentals of the investment make sense. Does that make sense? I said make sense like 100 times.
100%.
Yeah.
And I guess just to give that all some context, like crypto is an insanely exciting space, right? There is absolutely opportunity to make life-changing amounts of money and all of those kind of things. But I think for a lot of people, crypto is their first intro to any sort of investing, right? And it's easy to see these 20, 50, 100x gains that can happen in 24 hours and just assume that that is how all investments work and that's how all industry works, and like you just said, Champ, like there's a really fine line between an actual investment and just gambling on something, right? And when you're new to this space, even when you've been in it for a while, like it's easy to forget that most of these projects don't have a product, and most of them don't have users. And just because they have a $60 billion market cap or something doesn't actually mean the project will survive or has any staying power, But if you've bought something and you're expecting to be rich from it like 3 weeks later, you're not an investor. You haven't invested in anything. You haven't invested in the time. I mean, really, to make anything from an investment within 5 years is a great thing, right? Now, obviously, we're all building towards this ecosystem being more beneficial quicker than that. But we've put the fundamentals in place, right? And we've put the system in place to lead to that long growth, the long-term adoption of the token and the ecosystem. We're not here to pump and dump this thing. We're not trying to just smash as much value into it. We saw what happened when that happened earlier in the year, right? The awareness grew, the token ran 30,000% in 6 weeks or something outrageous, and then the fallout from that, as people take profits, was just 3 months of fun. 3 months of people screaming at you because they're being pushed around by a number on a screen, and I think that when people really take the time to learn about what they're putting money into, and truly commit to it as an investment, there's not really anything better going in the space.
I think
space, yeah.
Sorry, and I think one of the I think like for Kay, right? He's emotionally invested, so that's how I call him, right? That's the truth of the matter of it. But what works with OMI for me is the fact that it's not the fact that it's just the crypto, is the fact that it's integrated with business as well. So as a business owner, as a business investment, fuck the crypto, as the business, it makes sense. I believe in it, and even if it was a stock or pre-IPO or anything like that, I would invest in it. It just so happened to sit in the crypto market, and there's a use for use token for it as well, so use case for it. So that's an extra win-win ultimately. So I feel like it's a bit of a no-brainer, but that's just my personal opinion. And look, bar the OMI token, you can make money doing anything. It's just how you approach it and what your logical reason is behind it. Absolutely. There has to be a reason, right? Yeah,
there has to be a reason, and like the fact that it is underpinned by a token actually gives everybody opportunity to invest in this company, right? Like,
correct.
You can't buy shares in it. It's not a publicly listed thing, but it gives you an opportunity to get in on the ground floor, and it's a utility token, right? So like for investment changes, if you come to a decision where you want more collectibles, anything like that, like it has a use, right? It's not just like a piece of paper sitting there saying you.
So much to it.
Yeah. There's so many.
It really is.
So many elements to it, and so many avenues of success. And you can't ignore the licensing and things. Like, I think people are really starting to realize just how many different digital products can be available on the platform, from there's 3D models to comic books to one-of-one artworks to the physical digital releases, where we're accessing brands like obviously Marvel and in the pop culture space, individual artists. Like, there's almost too many verticals that we can buy on this platform, and as the years develop, like every single one of them brings in new fans and new users
Yes.
introduces them to this new system of collecting, and from a company side, you have instant distribution across the world, right? We're like, for DC or Marvel or anyone to create a physical statue, manufacture it, package it, ship it, distribute it to shops, it might take a year before all of that product sells out or whatever. To have completely removed all of that, to make it a much more environmentally friendly solution as well, and to really combine with our movement as a society into this more digital space anyway. Like, there's so much opportunity here, and like the licensing has really separated us from a lot of the other companies. Now, that's not to say that there won't be other big successes, right? Like Axie has had great success. They're really leveraging to earn. Red Fox is another one doing a similar thing in Southeast Asia. More companies will come into this space because there is opportunity, but there's so much market there.
Damn it, Kay. I'm with you with that.
Yeah, you're really going to have an opportunity to get in on the ground floor of a company like this, but also at the beginnings of a new industry, right? And that is the NFT space. I think it was Gary Vee said it the other day. Everyone always froths on OpenSea, right? But OpenSea has like 60,000 active wallets or something.
Yep.
60,000 people, and it's like the epicenter of the NFT world, right? We're like 6 times that already on VeVe, right? And we already have more reach. And that's only going to continue to expand, right? But when you see how many people go crazy over OpenSea and there's still only 60,000 wallets, like, we're early. Everybody here is so early to this digital collectible revolution, digital content, digital entertainment. It's become more familiar to everybody over the years through streaming and through COVID. We've all lived a much more digital life. I just think it all feeds the narrative. It's great.
And I love and our YouTube communities like this. Like, I don't see any other. Let's not even talk NFT. Like, even crypto, they each, for example, if there is an ADA or kind of whatever, right? Those YouTubers, they're in their own little world. They don't have them as much as, for example, like what we've done here with these 4, which I've really, really enjoyed. So thanks, Dan and Taps, for agreeing. I feel like the community, like Kay said, not hate, but it's the best thing, and also sometimes can be the most troubling thing in this society, you could say, or in an OMI homie.
100%. And everyone has a different understanding of the opportunity. Everyone has their own needs, wants from these things. Some people genuinely do think they're going to end up with a Lambo in 3 days' time. It's just the nature of it, right? Crypto enables this ground floor investing, but it doesn't mean that everybody knows what they're doing. So
100%.
You're always going to get that. That's where you guys come in. You all provide such valuable information for anyone in the ecosystem, anyone new to the ecosystem, and then people can start to understand the real value behind this opportunity, instead of just like hoping for a quick win.
I've got a quick point. I just saw it on the chat, and before I forget, so it was more of an idea, and it sounded really, really cool. So with blind boxes, you kind of don't know what you're getting. And Willy, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka, he had like his chocolate bars, and in a few of them there was a golden ticket. Classic film. They redid it with, I think, Johnny Depp. With blind boxes, would it be I don't know what you think of an idea where you have your, let's say 50,000 editions of boxes, and maybe in 5 of them, you also get a ticket that allows you to visit David Yu or something.
That'd be pretty cool.
I thought that might be, that's actually a pretty fun idea. I don't know what you think of something like that.
Yeah. Something like that can be really fun. I think, and I'm not going to say that this will happen straight away because it won't. But we might get to that point where, you have that same 1 in 5 chance of getting like a gold version of a collectible as well. Not necessarily just like something that gives you more utility. The utility side of things, I think, is great. Whether it's like, you get to touch David Yu's hair or something.
I would so want to do that.
But as a practical thing, at least right now in the world, like it's quite hard for people to travel still and all that kind of stuff. So I think any sort of extra utility would come within the VeVeVerse or within the app or that kind of thing, at least for the near term.
So before we ask that question, I wanted to ask before I forget a Comic-Con style for Ecomi. I know like this is something some people are doing and things like that. Is that something that's in the vision, or I wouldn't say pipeline, but just vision for sure, like in future?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's something we really considered when we started this, right? Because you kind of, I love quoting Dan on this. Like, you know, he just wanted to sell a Batman. You know, it's like
I love that.
That's where this started, right? And then
I love that.
Very quickly kind of grew into a fan base, you know, of the product and of the company and that kind of thing. There's actually someone in the works of organizing like a VeVeCon.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's in, I think we'll start in the Netherlands and then maybe move around, right? So like, yeah, the potential to end up having our own Comic-Con style event. I guess it's in the sights now, right? And it's definitely a possibility. Because the fact that people are organizing them already and organizing them for us, and like it's mind-boggling to see it happen.
Because where that question is leading to would be pretty cool if we all had a platform where we would all meet up for all the YouTubers. So if OMI had, or like Ecomi or VeVe actually, whichever method, had their own actually certified event which they're part of, then everyone would go to that area or fly to that area, which would be really, really cool. Because then
I imagine like having you guys up as the panelists, you know, like we run the event during the day or whatever, and have our, you know, like you've got this stream, right, and you guys come up for a chat. And then Cavell can do a video about it while we're
streaming while he's up there.
He can stream live of us streaming live.
Shut up,
Really,
you know what was funny? He actually reacted to his own video. So basically, someone reacted to a Cavell video, and then Cavell reacted to the person reacting to his own video. So I was watching it, and I was basically listening to two Cavell voices like concurrently. So I was like, he's done a reaction.
Yeah. It's been set.
We need to react to it so he can react back to us reacting to him.
Yeah, but like that's my vision for that kind of event. You know, like I'd love it to become like a Steve Jobs. You know, David can come out and announce some new stuff and make an event out of it. You know, like it's cool.
Funny you say that, because Taps had the similar idea. Like one of the reasons that actually got into my head was because of Taps, because Taps was saying how people could do like an event where they're showing their showroom, and like you said, we could be panelists and just reviewing them, talking about how hard those collectibles were, or just, you know, a bit about as an overall. And I think that's just really cool as a community, just to have that platform, to have everyone together in that space. And, you know, like you said, so Dan can just sell a Batman in that event as well.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. Like there's so much there's just so much potential there, right? And we really do have community all around the world now, right? And that's a feature of crypto, right? Crypto exists in all these little pockets, so the NFT space
easy access
went the same way. Like when you see us move up the App Store rankings, like it's in multiple countries, you know, it's not just localized to one place. So it's really cool to see that grow, which gives us the opportunity to run events like that and have them in different locations. And if it's nearby, you can come to it or whatever. Now, I think it's still a little early days to be running like a crazy con style event.
For sure.
But yeah, I'd love to see it take place. For sure.
Well, two questions that came in on the chat. So the first one is in the first interview you did with Taps, you spoke about kind of bonus OMI burn events. And I was wondering, well, someone asked if we had any kind of update on that, any kind of progress or ideas that were thrown around. And the second question is just related to buyback. Someone just asked, was there any official communication on the buyback stopping? So those two questions.
Yeah. I mean, like bonus burn events and things are definitely in our discussions. None of that sort of stuff will take place until the immutable thing is done. You know, that's the first move has to kind of take place. But it's definitely a possibility, right? I'm not going to say don't start the speculation now or anything. But yeah, there's some really fun events we can do like that. I think we've talked, Kay, as well about like, you know, being able to theme content around like Halloween or Christmas or things like that, right? There might be more appropriate things and promo events like that we can do around certain events. So all of that, it's definitely a potential development, but it's not around the corner. Buybacks we've probably spoken about in AMAs recently. I've spoken to David about it. He's finalizing the next bit now and prioritizing it this week. Same deal. Everything has to go through all our legal and accounting and all that kind of stuff. But it's back on his table. So as soon as I have more information, I'll get it out there. There's not really much more of an update I can give on that at this point in time.
Awesome. Just wanted to bounce back to Taps and Daniel Lee. If you guys had anything additional to just add, or any questions or anything?
I had a question. It's just kind of a fun one. I think I saw like one of Cavell's videos, and he was talking about how, like, speculating that some people are maybe buying hoverboards so that maybe they could use that to fly around the VeVeVerse. Do you think that's incredibly speculative and like a genius move, or do you think that's foolish?
I think it's pretty speculative at this point. I would love to, get to the day where you can drive your DeLorean time machine around, or your Ecto One, or that kind of thing. But that's definitely a down the line kind of thing. I mean, look, maybe you can ride your hoverboards around. I think it's a bit too early days to be locking that in as the reason that, if it's if you really like the hoverboards, have at it. Maybe you get lucky, but I wouldn't dive into that straight away.
Thank you.
Someone just said hoverboard price crash in 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Cavell, hoverboard unconfirmed. There was another question actually in the chat, because I saw Trevor actually shared the Hypebeast article, and there was which was Hypebeast one was actually very positive, but there was another more critical article shared by Kotaku. I don't know if you'd read that, but someone asked if you read it and what you thought about that article.
Yeah, I did see it, and haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Yeah, I did see that. I think Trevor even posted and said, I don't care that you didn't enjoy this. I'm glad you're posting my book.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Look, that's just part of this industry. Some people don't understand NFTs. They don't see the value proposition behind them. They don't understand that this digital transition is taking place. And some people are just going to try and bring you down regardless, right? I think that article really ragged on Marvel more than anything, didn't it? And was just trying to I don't know, call it gimmicky or whatever, right? But same thing. I'm sure that guy hasn't done any research to see just how long-lasting this partnership actually is, how integral it is to this new product line and product development. So, frankly, I thought it was really poorly researched.
I think he did no research, because one of his arguments was the effect on the environment, which is kind of funny because VeVe brands itself as the carbon neutral NFT platform. So
it's much to even look into that. Yeah, it just sounded like the guy has a stick up his bum, to be honest.
Yeah. One thing to add to that too is more and more of what's happening in investing from the traditional stock markets and all that is bleeding very much so into crypto, where we see manipulation and calculated short attacks too. So this guy could be an investor, or could be working with a firm, or was paid by someone to do. I'm not saying that happened, but as the space grows and as more awareness comes to these larger projects in OMI, as it grows with more awareness, they will be targeted by negative articles and short attacks as well. So, it's one negative article among how many positive ones, and more influencers and prominent names and brands and news articles that are coming out with positive light. So, it's either way, it might be bad, but it's still awareness, Yeah.
And some people will go against the grain just to get the attention, it's like using clickbait titles or whatever, right? It gets people talking and sharing. There will always be some that look for that alternative view to confirm their own opinions, which is fine. That's just part of it. I had never even heard of Kotaku before I saw that article. I probably won't see them again. So I don't know if they're a big deal or not, but is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I like that. To be fair, ultimately, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There was,
We are all George. It's just
yeah. So someone actually asked, could you talk a bit about the partnership with Cryptos R Us?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I've been in talks with George for quite a number of months. I originally reached out to David. We were going to do an interview at one point, but his schedule changed and all that. So we've been in touch, and I've been aware of his persona in the crypto world for quite a while. Personally, I think he's one of the most unbiased and sound voices in the space. Just kind of calls it what it is. Yeah, we've worked together on a bit of a channel partnership. He's going to help us to get our information out there to his audience as well. I think he does a really good job of explaining things to explaining these ideas to people. So yeah, I think we're going to work together for the next few months. For us, it's a really good thing because, like, obviously you guys have seen we're now at that point where things are just happening all the time. In a week, whether it's new licenses or drops or updates or whatever. And as much as we all try to get that out there, it's nice to be able to access more voices in wider audiences. So yeah, I'm really happy about it. I'm really excited to work with George, and he's very happy to have us on board. So yeah, I think he announced it that we're a channel partner, sponsor, whatever he's calling it. Yeah. So there should be regular updates on what we have going on quite regularly on his channel.
Nice.
Yeah. Should be good.
Daniel, anything you want to add?
No, I'm good.
All good.
I think I'm good.
What is it? Are you wrapping up, Kay? If you are, then we'll just say one last time for the quiz.
Yeah, we can wrap up in about 6 minutes. Call it at 15 past.
Cool. So for anyone who missed it earlier, that we said we will be doing a content creators YouTube stream. So there's about 9 of us. So all the people here in this video, plus we've got Cavell, Orange Bag Lady, I think Poor Man Printing, and some others as well. So forgive me if I forgot. I've got terrible memory because there's so much going on. Hello at Cavell's comment. So literally, like I said, the first 20 minutes will be an AMA. So we're just going to ask random facts. So it'll be nice just to kind of get to know, Reese and the content creators with a random fact rather than just, them always giving us information. So it'll be nice to know what their favorite ice cream is or something, just a random question. It'll be just nice. And then the second half will be a quiz, and the quiz will be based on VeVe and potentially like, what drops have happened, just things like that. And then there's an app that Kay will be announcing. We'll post everything on Twitter and also through Discord and Telegram. So do get involved. And it's actually something that I've wanted to create for you guys and also the YouTubers. So the prizes will go to you guys and the YouTubers. So yeah, if you do want to get any questions, just ask any of us and we'll be happy to help.
And have we got what time and date locked in?
Not yet. I will get that secured in by the end of this week.
Cool.
Okay, so we'll have an update at the end of this week.
Yep.
But just to clarify, so we're going to have a kind of Q&A / quiz between the content creators. We're also going to have a second part part of the same event where it's going to be a community quiz, so everyone can join in. Even if there's 1,000 of you, you can all join in. It'll be ran as an online quiz on Kahoot. There will be prizes, which we're kind of in the process of finalizing. So Ecomi is kind of helping us finalize the prizes as well, which is really nice of them. And yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty cool event. I think it's going to be like the biggest kind of event where people can actively kind of contribute live, because we wanted, something that everyone can do rather than kind of just sit there and watch. So I think it'll be pretty fun.
And it's positive, right? I feel like it's a really positive event and a lot of interaction with the community, because a lot of them, for like Taps, Daniel Lee, all of us YouTubers, is because of the community, full stop. And the same thing, I dare say the same thing for VeVe, right? Ultimately, we are the community or the user base. Ultimately, that's what is building us up for that. So it's a nice way to give back, and it'll be super fun, super positive. And if it goes well, we'll have part 2, which is for the other YouTubers, and then who knows where this will go. All right.
Yeah, that's it. That's a great event. And if anyone wants to tune in tomorrow or whenever the time is, I'm doing an AMA in the OKX Telegram as well. So
you've got a giveaway in that.
Yeah, they're doing a giveaway. Yeah, if you check them out on Twitter, I think it's just a retweet that post and follow both,
It's a
both
big giveaway.
profiles.
You got to add them on the Telegram too. But if any questions were not answered, I'd say that would be your best chance to hop in there and get some questions answered.
Yeah.
Spamming.
That's it. Well, for anyone who may not have seen one of these Telegram AMAs, obviously we're introducing OMI and VeVe to a new audience. So they tend to follow a bit of a structure. You know, if you've been around a while, there's probably information you already know and you've already heard. But it's just great to have some support from the fam, you know, and it definitely shows other communities just how strong ours is when everyone shows up. So yeah, tune in.
And also, I want to express our, I'm sure I can speak for all of us, our gratification for you. So thank you for always turning up and helping us, and also staying patient, which does amuse me, and just helping everyone, right? Because even though we laugh at, you know, staying patient, sometimes that person asking you the question really does know, and it's the first time for them. So I understand where you're coming from. So yeah, we appreciate everything you do, and also joining in today. So thanks, bro.
Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. And big thanks to you guys. Massive shout outs to everyone who creates content. Like, you know, we can't appreciate it more. It's incredible to watch grow. It's incredible to watch all of you grow. And as this journey progresses, I love it. I love how integrated everybody has become on this journey. So
let's all win together.
That's it. That's it.
We just had just a couple last wrap-up questions, just because these guys have been waiting. So there was one here that was, so one is the support ticker. I think that's just a normal question where I think they have to follow up with Lucas, I think, or kind of the support guys.
The support thing all depends on the circumstances of the ticket. You know, a lot of people, we've had a lot of people whose accounts have been disabled because they were using bots or emulators, and they complain about support not getting back to them straight away. I mean, they'll get back to you. If that's the case, they'll get back to you when they get back to you. If it's not the case, shoot me a message. I'll get someone to follow up on it. Hopefully it's not me that you're waiting on. If it is, I'm sorry.
Just part of that.
I forgot that I actually had one written down. It got deleted, but it's from someone in the Discord who they haven't been able to hop on the stage in an AMA yet. But I think they didn't give me much context, but I think they were using an emulator and their account got disabled. But they asked, and I wish I had the language, but they sent me a question that had like a language that said something around either returning collectibles or compensated in some way if their account is disabled. I didn't read the language, but is that something that's in the VeVe terms and conditions? And when accounts are disabled, are they just kind of out of luck, or is there some form of compensation back to them?
Yeah, right now, like they're not permanently disabled, to my knowledge. Like unless there's been some huge exploit or something that someone's done, we're not trying to be assholes about it or anything like that, right? Like, and I would prefer to obviously warn people, give them a chance to use the app properly, and then if they do it again, obviously then they don't really have a leg to stand on. So I think that's definitely the mentality we're taking.
Like a warning.
Yeah, and there's obviously a punishment period there, right? Like, we might not get your account back for 30 days or something, right? But no, I think we're definitely still in the mindset of like we want to try and foster people using the app properly, in those situations. So yeah, we're not just taking people's collectibles back from them or anything like that. And we will open access to those things because at the end of the day, people have spent money on and on. It's more just if you're in that situation, you kind of just have to be patient with us. We're trying to make this as fair as possible for everybody. We can't just let you off the hook if you cheat the system.
I think that's fair enough that you're actually even giving them back just to have a try again, because but still, I think that's
As our vote, we would say you just give them to us.
Yeah.
I have
which they don't.
But yeah, like it's just one of those things. It's still early days on that journey as well. I think that question had a couple more pieces to it, Kay.
So the other part of the question was kind of related to more on app stuff. So kind of trading collectibles between people, chatting to people within the app. So kind of like a messenger form, because right now people kind of have to communicate off the app in order to do things in the app. All of that stuff. Like my suspicion would be a lot of this would be coming after the move to immutable, just because it makes it easier. But obviously I want to hear kind of your thoughts on it as well.
Yeah. I think that's the case. I mean, obviously, like to build in a messaging system isn't a small task, right? And it has to be able to work, and whether that's like friend profiles or anything like that. So it's definitely in the works. But I think in the meantime, most of the communication will still happen off the app, right? And people have found the communities that way, right? There's so many Facebook groups, there's the Discord server, there's Telegram. Like it has all happened and it's all taken place. But it will be nice once it's all in the app, you know. Or maybe that's maybe it's easier to roll that out on the web platform first, you know, from a development point of view. So that's definitely coming, you know. But it's not next week. You know, maybe we get the first iterations of it by the end of the year. Obviously, the priority has been developing the blind box openings, the comic books, because that in itself is an entirely new part of the store. So that's where our dev hours have been dedicated to get this done. But now that the technology's been built, it means we can just kind of enable blind box openings on different content and things like that. So yeah, they're in the pipeline. They're on the way. I think I saw something about adding pictures to your profile as well. Or something
yes,
that'd be
I
pretty
think
cool.
it said pictures and videos to your profile.
Yeah, I'm assuming he means like your own pictures rather than just the collectibles. So same thing. I mean, everything in the app, these are its earliest iterations, right? Like as it becomes more robust and you can do more stuff with it, those features will become available. But it just depends on development time and testing and what it takes to actually build those. And obviously, like we're moving quickly, right? Like every week there's a new feature going out in the app or something happening. So it's, we're getting through it, but there's also like an almost endless list of possibilities and cool features. So yeah, it just goes as it goes.
Exactly. Fantastic. Any sort of wrap-up points from Daniel Lee, Taps, or Wannabe Champ?
I'm good.
I think, Reese, you mentioned that you guys are looking for any more developers that are really advanced, right? So you mentioned it on our AMA. So if you want to mention it again here, because, you know, if I had any developing skill, I'd be signing up right away. But you know, imagine someone in the community would know someone or even have the capabilities themselves. So, you know.
Yeah. Michael puts out the occasional job ad on Angel Co. Do you have that site? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, Angel List.
Angel List, right? If you Google Angel List Ecomi, that's where you'll see some of our development positions advertised.
Yeah. I think there was a vacancy for SRE role, kind of like site reliability engineer, and then like backend kind of Node.js, and then like a React one as well. That's what I saw last.
Yeah, and it might still be up there, or maybe we've filled it.
I think it's still up.
That's the place to keep an eye on if any developers are looking for a job. It is quite hard to find people with experience in the tech stack that we use in the right time zone or close enough that you know that there's that crossover with the team and all of that kind of thing too. But that's part of the industry, right? There's so many amazing engineers and developers coming to the space, but like there's only so many of them and so many projects. So it's hard to really pinpoint those quality people, but the team's always growing and we're always welcoming more people to it. So it's we're expanding that capacity for sure. But check it out if anyone wants to have a look, if you've got those skills, if you think you might be suitable. Otherwise, just keep an eye out on that for future positions as well.
Just on the big kind of community quiz coming up, I just completely forgot to ask, but do you think you'd be able to potentially ask Dan and Dave if they'd be interested in joining? They're probably quite busy, but
yeah, I mean, I can find out. It depends what time as to whether they'll be awake. Also, obviously, with all the Marvel stuff going on, it's hard for me to pin them down at this point, let alone
even if they to be honest, actually, on that's a good question, because even if they just pop on for a good 5 minutes, 10 minutes just to drop a message, that'll be cool, whatever the message may be to the YouTubers or community, because it's the first one. I think that's actually quite a good idea. Okay, we would appreciate that.
I'll see if he's around.
Wicked.
Cool.
Or if they could have like if they can't hop on, maybe like pre-record a message that we could play.
And we'll play it.
Okay. Yeah. A pre-record. Sure. Get some props in there. Yeah, that could work.
And white gloves.
Yeah, he has to have the white gloves on.
100%.
Preferably Mickey Mouse ears too.
Yeah, that's it. Might just do this last question that's on the screen, and then wrap it up. Yeah. So no update on sporting licenses just yet. Waiting to hear. Immutable is, I think, about 90% of the way through now. It's going into heavy testing. Dan mentioned it in the AMA. I think I mentioned it with you, Taps, as well. So that's progressing really well. Obviously, it's ready when it's ready. But best case, maybe we land it at the end of the month, early September. That kind of thing. Exchanges this month. Tick. Yep, we already did that one on the 1st of August. Check it out. Also, if anyone hasn't created an account there, I think today is the last day to enter that competition to win some OMI and a Jermaine Rogers choices. There's 8 camo ones and 8 luckies available. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you use the links that are in our article and fill out the form when you're done. But it's your last chance to get involved on that. As to new exchanges, I mean, they land when they land. There's more in the works. Maybe we get lucky and another one hits before the end of the month. But yeah, I've learned my lesson trying to say it'll happen by this day. So yeah, they'll land when they land. We do have more lined up for once the migration has taken place. It's much easier to sell an exchange on listing an ERC20 than it is a Go20 token. But all progressing well.
Really, really excited. Thank you very much for joining us today.
No
Thanks
problem.
to everyone in the community.
Yeah, massive thanks. Thanks for everyone that tuned in. Thanks for your questions. Good to see you all. I'll see you next week.
Cool. We'll wrap up the stream there. So thanks again so much for watching, guys. So have more details on the community quiz coming up. Like Reese said, there is an AMA with OKX tomorrow. So you can do some more Reese grilling on that. Or just, ask him when OMI utility for the 10 trillionth time. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. Any last thoughts from Taps or Daniel Lee?
Thanks so much, Reese. We appreciate this, and thanks for inviting us, Champ and K.
That's cool. And remember to subscribe to Taps and Daniel Lee. That's the last thing I want to say.
Yeah, subscribe to Champ, Taps, and Daniel Lee as well. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll all see you guys next time.
Peace.
See you, Tim.
K smells.